नौकरी छोड़ के स्टार्टअप बना रहे थे, राइट? आपने नौकरी देने का स्टार्टअप बना लिया. व्हाई यू डूइंग दिस? यू कुड हैव गॉट अ ग्रेट जॉब.
सो मोमेंट ट्रैफिक आने लग गया.
हाँ.
जिसे आजकल कहते हैं गोइंग वायरल.
जी.
उस समय दैट टर्म डिड नॉट एग्जिस्ट बट इट वेंट वायरल. द होल एम्बिशन वाज मैं तनख्वाह निकाल लूं. और मैं तनख्वाह निकाल लूं
आफ्टर लिविंग अ ग्रेट सैलरी.
हाँ, देन तनख्वाह निकल गई है, बिजनेस चल रहा है, लाइफ इज ओके यार.
बट वो विजन जो आपने, जैसे आपने कहा था कि वो केबिन नहीं देखना था मुझे, तो आपका वो ड्रीम क्या था?
We said no to some very good companies.
Public?
Ola, BigBasket, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Lenskart, I said no to.
Zypp Electric.
Zypp Electric, yes. Zypp Electric.
Yeah. A personal question: love, fame, power. How do you rate them in the order?
I think the ability to influence outcomes so that everybody can reach a better future.
So guys, welcome to another episode of the Akash Gupta show. This is one of the biggest that we've ever done, by the way, because we have a very, very special guest today, right? He's been a trailblazer of the startup industry by investing in amazing successful startups, and he's himself built an OG business of his own, which is IPO'd and crazily profitable, right? So no points for guessing who's the guest today. He's the founder of InfoEdge. He's the person who built Naukri.com, Jeevansathi.com, 99acres.com. He's the person who spotted Zomato and PolicyBazaar in very early days and took them to IPO along with the founders. He is Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani, who's in himself a Padam Shri Award winner also. इस पॉडकास्ट में मैं बता रहा हूं आपको इतना सीखने को मिलेगा कि कैसे एक इंसान नौकरी छोड़ के बिजनेस बनाता है, कैसे उस बिजनेस को सक्सेसफुल बनाता है, क्या चैलेंजेस आते हैं और उस बिजनेस की जर्नी के पैसों से कैसे यंग स्टार्टअप्स में इन्वेस्ट करके उनको भी प्रॉफिटेबल बनाता है. सो दिस इज नथिंग लेस देन अ मिनी स्टार्टअप MBA फॉर यू. सो गाइज, लेट्स डाइव राइट इन. लोग नौकरी छोड़ के स्टार्टअप बना रहे थे, राइट? आपने नौकरी देने का स्टार्टअप बना लिया, राइट? कब? और वो भी 90s में, राइट? दैट टाइम. तो ये कैसे और कहाँ से वो जर्नी का आइडिया?
I quit my job in 1990. Prior to that, I worked in consumer marketing in a company called H&M. I was working on the brand Horlicks.
Yes.
Prior to that, I did my MBA. And prior to that, I worked for 3 years in advertising straight after college.
Right.
तो 5 साल काम करने के बाद I said, I don't fancy a career where I'm rising up the ranks of large corporations as an employee manager. I would, much rather try and do something of my own. So in 1990, I quit my job and
Straight away startup.
I mean, I had an idea to do a salary survey, friend and I. We did some trademarks databases. We were pottering around doing drifting. So for 7 years, I drifted and did a whole bunch of small things.
Okay.
Teaching, training, research. I taught, in fact, business schools around Delhi just to earn some pocket money on as visiting faculty, including IMT Ghaziabad, where you studied, from 92 to 98.
And that time, Naukri had not started when you were looking for some money by teaching.
I was looking to somehow earn some pocket money.
But you were IIM Ahmedabad.
Ji.
You were having a great job at Horlicks.
Ji.
Why were you doing this? You could have got a great job.
या मेरे को करना नहीं था.
अच्छा, बहुत क्लियर थे.
हाँ, मैं क्लियर था, मेरे को वो नहीं करना. हाँ. I used to grapple with some existential questions.
अच्छा.
कि साहब, I would sit in that open marketing hall in H&M and I could see my future. That if I work well for the next 3 years, I can be in that cabin. Next 5 years, I can be in that cabin. Next 15 years, I can be in that cabin. I could predict my future if I did well, where I'd end up at. And then I said, when I'm 58 and retire, and I look back on my career, what will I have to show for it?
That cabin.
And I said, yaar, ye future hai. So do I want this future?
Wow.
And I would say maybe not. And I realized that, maybe I was chasing the wrong dream. It didn't motivate me. If my car is 1 foot longer than yours, I'm doing better than you. If my house has 1 bedroom more than yours, I'm doing better than you.
Okay.
And I said, is this what I want out of life? And I said, no, I need something else. So I quit and I began to drift and explore. So 7 saal I drifted and explored. In the 7th year, we launched Naukri as one more small idea.
Really? And InfoEdge was built in 1990.
So the name Info Edge has been around since 1989-90.
Okay.
ठीक है?
हाँ.
Initially as a partnership,
जी.
then as a proprietorship, then in 95 as a private limited company, which is the entity that exists today, which is now a public limited company.
Yes.
Okay. So this entity has existed since 1995. The name Info Edge since 1989-90.
Okay.
So we were doing various ideas
अच्छा.
under the umbrella of Info Edge.
Wow.
Okay.
Pure hustle. मतलब trials चल रहे हैं.
हाँ, जो मिल जाए.
अच्छा.
To anything to survive. So teaching, training, market research, small time consulting, feasibility studies, some writing.
Okay.
You know, हाथ पाँव मार रहे थे.
सही है.
So बड़े पापड़ मिले.
हाँ.
And 97 we launched Naukri as one more small idea.
Wow.
Seemingly.
अच्छा.
उस समय केवल 14,000 इंटरनेट अकाउंट थे देश में. And we began by, taking jobs from newspaper ads and putting them on the website and seeing what happened. Wow. And we did that. We used to get 29 newspapers from around the country.
अच्छा.
And would take the appointment ads and, in our own words, put them on the website.
Okay.
And traffic आने लग गया.
Wow.
So moment traffic आने लग गया, जिसे आजकल कहते हैं going viral.
जी.
उस समय that term did not exist, but it went viral.
Your website went viral. And was that the same time when Hari Sadhu campaign came out?
No, Hari Sadhu campaign was about 6-7 years later.
6-7 years later. और वो भी मतलब ऐसा
See,
campaign
we had
था?
no money for advertising.
अच्छा, ठीक है. क्योंकि वो कैंपेन भी वायरल का मतलब इंटरनेट ब्रेकिंग कैंपेन था जो आपने सोचा होगा. आई वुड लव टू फॉर यू टू टच दैट आल्सो एज यू कवर दिस.
But तो हमने लॉन्च किया 97 में, April 97, and it began to get traffic.
अच्छा.
When it began to get traffic, people would apply for jobs, and in the covering letter they would write, I saw your ad on Naukri.com. So the HR manager had never advertised on Naukri, did not know what Naukri was, began to hear about us. Sure. Because the job seekers told them that.
So you put a team who was putting these classified ads onto online.
That's right.
Themselves.
That's right.
Wow.
Right.
So creative.
And then companies began to call us, saying, "साहब मेरे पास ये 5-6 jobs हैं, मैंने अखबार में डाले, आप डालोगे?"
अच्छा.
We said sure thing, but pay us 350 rupees per job. So थोड़ा पैसा आने लग गया.
Nice.
So in the first year, we did 2.35 lakhs of revenue.
First year, that's all. Wow.
Which is
from that days.
Which is small potatoes.
Yeah.
But at that time, for us it was like a good start.
Yeah.
And we were losing money, but it was okay.
सही.
Next year, this 2.5 lakh went to 18 lakhs.
अच्छा.
So that's when we said we are an internet company. हमने सब कुछ बंद कर दिया.
Superb. अच्छा, और जो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स चल रहे थे इन्फो एज में, एवरीथिंग शट डाउन.
बंद कर दिया.
नौकरी इज द गेम नाउ.
वो सब बंद कर दिया.
वाओ. तो उस समय तो कोई वेंचर कैपिटल नहीं था, कुछ नहीं था,
Nothing.
कोई फंडिंग नहीं थी.
Nothing.
And how did you figure out?
We had to break even to survive. So I wasn't taking a salary.
You were not.
No, I could not.
No salary.
Company could not afford to pay me.
And you were the sole founder?
There were 3 founders, but the entire financial risk was mine.
Acha. You had taken a call and you were in a way appointing teams in that sense. Wow, that's such a forward looking. मतलब आज देखते हैं हम लोग आइडियाज बोलते हैं लोगों को भाई जहाँ भी क्लासिफाइड हो उसको ऑनलाइन कर लो, बिजनेस बन जाएगा, राइट? एंड आई थिंक you thought it out of a problem.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
I mean, basically, I'll tell you what happened. When I was in my last job in HMM, I used to observe all my colleagues. It was an open hall. I had 8-10 colleagues in the same hall, all from the IIMs or the better business schools, Bajaj, FMS, whatever. And I would observe that they would all read the office copy of Business India from the back, because in those days there were 35 to 40 pages of appointment ads in the back of Business India. So article से पहले वो job ads देखते थे, but they are in a good job.
Wow.
And they are not going to apply.
Right.
But फिर भी वो job ad देखते थे.
अच्छा.
तो मुझे लगा कि jobs are a high interest category of information. So that insight, 7 years later, led to the idea of Naukri.
Wow. Amazing. That's pure observation of a problem and then implementing
and
it. That's a startup.
Consumer behavior.
Yeah, consumer behavior, consumer insight. क्या कर रहा है और उसको मैं कैसे दे दूँ? So guys, a huge learning there, by the way, how to look for ideas. I think that's the first master class. फिर सर scale कैसे करना शुरू किया?
So we were breaking even and going along.
Right.
And growing.
Yeah.
And we were selling through direct mail. हम चिट्ठियाँ भेजते थे to HR managers. And वो हमें job भेजते थे along with the check.
Okay.
By mail.
अच्छा.
ठीक है. तो अब that life went on. Around mid 99, I began to get calls from investors saying, "Bhai, we want to invest in your company."
Oh,
I'd never heard of venture capital. I'd never heard of investment banks. I did not know what was going on.
sure. And you never thought of raising funds?
No.
Acha. People reached out to you.
People reached out to us, and so I went for a couple of meetings. I was curious, because in my life, अब 10 साल हो गए थे, nobody had ever called me up to give me money.
Yeah.
So I said, ये कैसे हो गया? So I went for a couple of meetings, and that's when I discovered .com valuation कुछ चीज़ होती है, venture capital कुछ चीज़ होता है, US में कुछ Yahoo has gone public, and,
Oh.
so all that. I learnt about it, but we said we don't want money because we were breaking even. हमारा 18 लाख हो गया था पिछले साल, इस साल 35-36 लाख होने वाला था, and I said अगले साल 50-60 लाख हो जाएगा,
और पैसे बच रहे हैं तो रीइन्वेस्ट हो रहा है.
रीइन्वेस्ट हो रहा है, but at 50-60 lakhs I can take a salary. See, my sole ambition was मैं तनख्वाह निकाल लूँ. और मैं तनख्वाह निकाल लूँ.
After leaving a great salary,
हाँ, then तनख्वाह निकल गई है, बिजनेस चल रहा है, लाइफ इज ओके यार.
and I'm on my own.
Yeah.
बट वो विजन जो आपने जैसे आपने कहा था कि वो केबिन नहीं देखना था मुझे, तो आपका वो ड्रीम क्या था?
My first dream was to be independent. My second dream was to be creative.
अच्छा.
So independence and ability to create, be your own boss, do something new and path-breaking.
Nice.
In the process, if you can also earn a reasonable salary, to me that was the definition of success.
Nice. Wow. And your dad has been a doctor.
My dad is a doctor.
Right.
And so my thing was ki if I can get 1,000 companies every month to pay us 500 rupees to list one job every month, that's 5 lakh rupees a month. Saal mein 60 lakh.
Right.
And if I can do that in 3 years, to me that was success. Because 60 lakh हो जाएगा, 10-20 लाख प्रॉफिट बन जाएगा, मैं ले लूँगा तनख्वाह 5 लाख साल की.
Right.
Life will be set.
And this is early 2000s.
This is 97-98
97-98.
when I was thinking of this.
Correct.
But life changed because venture capital आ गया, competition got funded.
You took money? You took money?
We took money in April 2000.
April 2000.
In response to competition entering, having raised money.
Monster and the others.
Jobs Ahead.
Jobs Ahead.
Launched in Feb 2000 with a launch ad campaign that cost on TV on the India-Pakistan cricket series in Sharjah. And the cost of the launch ad campaign was twice annual turnover. So that's when we sort of sat up and got scared and said, we can't compete if we don't raise money.
Nice.
Then we went back into the market, went talked to a few venture capitalists and raised money.
Wow. That's how you discovered the first check and then the scale up.
So yeah, once you raise money, right, from third party, you have to scale up. You don't have a choice.
Correct. Right.
आपको return तो देना उनको.
हाँ. तो आपने board बनाया तब and all of that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Then board थोड़ा बहुत बनाया उस time. Board we really created just for the IPO 5 years later. But
okay.
But more than that, we got on lots and lots of people in the company.
Nice.
We invested in product, technology, servers, sales teams.
And then marketing campaigns. And then
marketing went by and by.
थोड़ा बहुत. Yeah. Awesome. No, that's amazing journey. So ये बताइए that from being a builder to then becoming an investor. So when Dipinder and Pankaj would have approached you, what did you see in them? And were you ready to invest in businesses by then? How did you take that call that InfoEdge will now invest in companies which are not even doing Naukri, right? You will do synergistic businesses.
Around 2002, 2003, having raised venture capital, we made a small loss for 2 years, then broke even again at a much larger scale. Now money was coming into the company.
Sure.
And we said, what do we do with this money? One option is give it back to shareholders. Other option is, try and expand the business. Okay. So take Naukri overseas.
Yeah.
Third option is stay within India and expand horizontally by adding more business lines.
Sure.
We chose the third option.
Super.
Okay? We said that we will stay with the Indian market, we know it well. We'll stay with the Indian consumer, we know the Indian consumer well.
Right.
But we will do matrimony, we will do,
new categories.
New categories. Now, matrimony, Jeevansathi was actually a business we had launched, a site we had launched ourselves in 1998.
Achha.
But we had not invested anything behind it. We just floated it. And
Pilot.
Just floated it and self-service.
Okay.
Not even one person.
Self-service. But चल रहा था वो.
चल रहा था.
Okay.
When ICICI invested in April 2000, they said, Jeevansathi band karo. We are only interested in Naukri.
Focus. Yeah.
And they also said, hey, we want new auditors, change your auditors. We want a Big 5 auditor.
Achha.
So we went to our auditors and said, who was small firm, and said, sorry, we have to part company, because we have raised money and they want a Big 5 auditor.
Yeah.
They said, hey, no problem. We have decided to close our CA practice and start a .com anyway. उस समय bubble चल रहा था.
Those auditors.
हाँ.
Okay.
So we said, fantastic. तो जीवनसाथी रख लो आप. And we gave them जीवनसाथी.
Okay.
And we kept a minority stake and gave them majority.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And they were running जीवनसाथी.
Lovely.
So when we broke even,
Yeah.
They had run जीवनसाथी for 3-4 years, but they were उस समय meltdown हो गया था. They could not raise money.
Okay.
So we said, why don't we buy it back from them?
Amazing.
So we bought back जीवनसाथी.
Superb.
And when we did that, we said, जीवनसाथी कर लिया. उसके बाद हमने बोला, why not real estate classifieds? Why not education classifieds? तुमने 3 और category कर दिए internally.
Sahi.
And we went public.
Wow.
Once we went public, we were as just profitable. More money came in. So, we didn't actually utilize the IPO money
Okay.
inside the company because हम तो as just profitable.
You were profitable. कितना PAT होगा sir?
उस समय, we went public in October 2006. We had done 84 crore top line in March, and we were headed to 147 crore top line. 147 crore पे करीब 30-35 crore profit होगा.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
I don't recall, but
Thereabouts.
thereabouts, करीब 25 जो भी था.
Almost 20%. Yeah, super.
Okay. So
That's the power of the
auditor would come every quarter and tell the board utilization of IPO proceeds nil. So board said, "Bhai, ye kya ho raha hai? You have to use IPO proceeds. You have done an IPO for a certain purpose."
Okay.
So
Invest.
Then, you say, what do we do? So we began to invest in startups.
Oh.
So 2007 May, we began to invest in startups.
And the board was okay with this.
Yeah, board wanted it because board said you have to use the IPO money.
Oh, nice.
So board had said, अगले 3-4 साल में 150 crore you can invest. They told me.
That's amazing.
So
And not a separate company, not a separate venture, VC fund, nothing?
From a balance sheet.
From the main company.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that's when we began to invest. And between 2007 and 2012, we did about 7, 8, 10 companies.
Okay.
जिसमें 2 थी Zomato और PolicyBazaar. So PolicyBazaar
7, 8 में से.
हाँ.
अच्छा.
So PolicyBazaar we did in 2008 and Zomato we did in 2010.
Okay. Sure. And you were just investing. आपने 10 में किया. 2 ये थी.
2 ये थी.
हाँ.
Okay. And so basically we were flying by the seat of our pants using our instincts.
हाँ.
Scouting around.
Right.
कुछ अच्छा आइडिया कर रहा है कोई 10-50 स्टार्टअप से मिलो 1-2 में इन्वेस्ट करो.
Right.
If you like the guys, like the idea, see what the valuation is right.
Nice.
Right.
Sure.
उस समय इतना competition नहीं था among venture capitalists.
अच्छा. I think it was very early days.
2008.
Correct. Flipkart had just come in and all of that,
Flipkart
right?
came in fact around a little later than that. In fact.
Okay. Okay. Did they approach you for funds?
No, but we got the Flipkart deck from somewhere.
Okay.
And I was told, why didn't you look at it? And I looked at it and I said, no.
Really? Yeah, some for successes, some for failure, right?
Yeah,
That's what life is all about.
So we said no to some very good companies.
Wow.
Okay.
I think a few more. I know
Ola,
it's in public.
Ola,
BigBasket, I think.
BigBasket, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Lenskart, I said no to.
Zypp Electric.
Zypp Electric, yes. Zypp Electric.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, actually. So I think any secret recipe now that you've got so many good startups now, Zomato, PolicyBazaar, you've said no to a few great ones, and a few have also blown away, Housing or the others, right? What's the any secret sauce that you can now derive?
So I think one of the first things we look at now is we look at some evidence of what we call natural traction. Ki sahab, the customers, the users seem to like this offering.
Okay.
Ki traffic aa raha hai, downloads ho rahe hain without advertising, and that is increasing.
Yeah.
That tells us that isme kuch hai. Sometimes we invest before launch. So for example, PolicyBazaar was before launch.
Wow. Idea stage.
Okay. There we have to be convinced that the hook or the value proposition is so compelling, customer will want this.
You're convinced of the product. Super.
The idea. And there should be some evidence ki, isme kuch hai.
Sure.
And then second is the team.
Most important in a way. Yeah. The founders.
Yeah. So, see, for example, I met Bhavesh
Yeah.
before launch.
Okay.
Now, the idea he had was different then.
Oh, not the cab version.
The idea he met me with was that बॉम्बे से महाबलेश्वर टैक्सी जाती है, वापस खाली आती है,
अच्छा.
मैं वापसी भरूंगा.
Okay. Okay.
So I said, it's how many taxis go, कितनी वापसियाँ होती हैं, भर लेगा, कितना कमीशन
कहीं तो
मिलेगा.
लोग ही मिल जाते हैं.
हाँ.
Yeah.
तो it's not going to be a large market.
Right. Makes sense.
So I said no to that idea. The idea changed.
Correct.
So there, my learning was that if the guy is good, he'll morph the idea
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
No, ऐसा ही Zypp के साथ भी हुआ, by the way.
यही हुआ. I remember meeting you,
Yeah.
and you were doing this, bicycle and scooter,
Correct.
electric scooter sort of sharing
जी.
and rental, and inside campuses.
Yeah. Correct.
And I was saying, यार IIT दिल्ली कैंपस में कितनी बाइक्स होंगी, क्या होगा, क्या मार्केट है,
कर लेंगे थोड़ा बहुत है.
कितना मिलेगा. And we were not convinced that
Yeah.
इसमें मार्केट बड़ा है.
Right. Yeah.
But you morph the idea.
Absolutely.
So learning is, अगर बंदा सही है, बंदे सही हैं,
Correct.
लोग सही हैं,
Correct.
तो कुछ ना कुछ कर लेंगे.
Absolutely. That's a big one actually. And we've seen so many pivots. Everyone has pivoted, right?
Yeah.
Instagram se leke, Facebook se leke, everyone has been a pivoter. But sir, there is also a great role that you played, and we hear and learn a lot about it on the board of Zomato, right? Now, I would want you to kind of put some light that the success of Zomato is a lot attributed to the founders and the board. But how would you?
Not the board, the founder, that's it, the management team.
Yeah.
Board में इसकी, I'll tell you something. The secret of successful early stage investing is to invest behind founders and companies who will succeed anyway. If they need you to succeed, they are the wrong entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
आप as an investor can make 2, 3, 4% difference, but 95% founder और management की capability, execution, idea, strategy.
The board is immaterial in that sense?
Board is not immaterial. Board is very material, but the board doesn't make the company succeed.
Yeah.
The board can help the company perhaps not fail in certain circumstances.
Sure. Got it. It's like a mentor role, which a
And
founder,
also some boundary management. भाई ये मत करना, ये गलत है.
बिल्कुल. Yeah, just cadence to the founder कि maybe, but नहीं यार, अभी नहीं, wait कर ले. उतना ही चाहिए actually to the founder.
But it's really about the entrepreneurs and the management team.
Yeah, makes sense.
So as an investor, therefore, your job is to spot right idea, right team, right market.
Absolutely. But tell me again that IPO which went live of a company which is startup, which is not profitable at the end. What was going on inside, the board conversations की, and you've been building a profitable startup, taking IPO, you've seen that. तो क्या चल रहा था public में, कैसा reaction होगा?
2020, when this conversation was happening, SEBI had changed certain rules, and a loss-making startup could now go public. Okay. Second, the investor sort of market sentiment was such that the market would accept a high growth startup of certain size and scale with the right unit economics, even if it's loss making today, but it'll make a profit tomorrow.
Achha.
So market में that was fine and acceptable.
Okay.
So it was decided that Zomato would go public, PolicyBazaar would go public.
Okay.
Knowing fully well, ये 2-3 साल में they'll make a profit.
Achha. The path to profitability
Was clear. Right? And that's how they went public.
Wow.
After they went public, market sentiment changed because the Fed began to tighten. And first the US market corrected, then the Indian market corrected.
Oh yeah.
But meanwhile, these companies fundamentally were trending towards profit.
Yeah, that mindset was now there.
The economics were in place.
Bilkul.
Growth was there. And when they reached profit, or came close to profit, and it was apparent that they were reaching profit, the stock price came back.
What do you want to tell the young generation who are now so much excited? Now startup is somewhere called sexy, startup is somewhere called, I want that LinkedIn title to be called as founder. What do you tell those youngsters who are again like you wanting to build?
I would say stay focused on your customer, your consumer, your prospective consumer. Because the customer's money is better than the investor's money. Because if you're getting the customer's money and you're getting the customer's money at a price that's higher than your cost, and you're getting it repeatedly from the same customers, which means that the customer's happy, then you probably have a viable business as long as you get enough customers.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
और अगर आपके पास कस्टमर का पैसा आ रहा है ना, इन्वेस्टर का पैसा आ जाएगा. Because investors love to invest behind businesses that are getting the customers' money. But अगर आपको इन्वेस्टर का पैसा आया पहले, there is no guarantee the customer's money will come. Because, getting the investor's money is about impressing two MBAs across the table.
Yeah.
Getting the customer's money is a lot harder. Customer will think 100 times.
That's right.
And to give you money a second time, your service had better or product had better have worked on the first time.
Correct. Absolutely.
Which means your product or service offering is relevant and it makes sense to the customer.
Yeah. So that's in a way the definition of PMF, right? Look at your customer money trickling down somewhere, profits.
आपको customer मिल रहा है और repeatedly मिल रहा है, and you're getting it at economics that's viable for you.
Sure. So is it wrong for founders to now chase VC capital? Everyone wants to say, "Hey, कौन सा round चल रहा है? I will raise funds, then I will be able to expand or build the business or start the company also." How do you look at that's the climate these days, right?
So very often then those kind of founders, when going gets tough, they don't stay.
Crumble.
Because I think the acid test is that, do I want to do this with or without external funding? ये मेरे को करना है. Now, I grew up in an environment where there was in an era when there was no external funding. तो अगर आपको करना था, आपको ब्रेक इवन करना था सर्वाइव करके.
Yeah.
Which means customer का पैसा essential था.
सही बात है.
Which means your customer understanding had to be great.
What are the sectors that you are excited about these days?
See, we don't do sectors. We do it bottom up.
Okay.
ठीक है, because if you're going to invest behind category creating companies, there are no sectors. जब हमने Zomato में invest किया, foodie भी था तब, there was no sector. It was a pioneering company.
Right.
जब हमने PolicyBazaar में invest किया, there was no sector. There was no other insurance comparison company.
Wow.
So if we had looked at categories, and somebody had told me, restaurant listing category is great. There was no category here. I said, are you crazy?
है ही नहीं कुछ ऐसा. Right.
So we meet 1,000 startups a quarter.
Okay.
I mean, meet means study, whatever.
Correct. You get those decks in a way. Yeah.
Invest करते हैं 3-4-5 में. In a quarter.
अच्छा.
That's it.
Out of 1,000, the selection process is 5 or so.
Yeah, but it's not as if others don't get funded. They may get funded from somebody else, But हम 4-5 में करते हैं.
And sir, again, I'll just go back to your past, right? Your dad was a doctor. You realized that you wanted to build a business. But what was going in, just job nahi karna, but the fear, which is for a lot of people who are listeners of this show, they are in that fathom that, can I leave my job? I'm that 25-year-old who is slightly relaxed, but can I leave my job?
Yeah, so I was from that background, regular middle class salaried background. Father in government, doctor in the government, mother homemaker,
right?
Brother professor, sister in government, right? No business person in the whole family,
right?
And जो होता है ना middle class India में, कि study hard, get a good education, get a good job,
right?
That is how we were conditioned.
That's right.
So we were not brought up to take an entrepreneurial risk. Yet ambition tha. So it was a trade-off between ambition and desire on one side,
right,
and fear of the unknown on the other side. So it took me some time to muster up the courage to quit my job.
Okay. And
you see, I always knew that with a decent qualification under my belt, I could come to a job anytime. But you see, in those days, it's very different from today. In 1990, when I quit my job, if you quit a good job in a large corporation and went off to start a business, we didn't even say entrepreneurship in those days, we said business. Went off to start a business, and 3-4 साल बाद वापस आ गए आप, you were forever branded a failure. He's a failed business person, and you were condemned to a glass ceiling of middle management, in large corporations.
Yeah.
So then you had to go to the Middle East or Africa to make a career,
Oh.
right?
Restart.
Or be happy with a glass ceiling.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So I was pretty clear when I quit my job that yes, there's an insurance policy, is my qualification. But no, I can never use it because I don't want to have to go to Middle East and Africa. So मेरे को इंडिया में ही रहना है. And if I have to come back to a job, then I know that I will be forever have to put up with a glass ceiling of middle management.
Understood.
Now it's different. Now entrepreneurial experience is valued.
Yeah.
So if you come back to a job in a large corporation, people say, hey, he or she, they've got entrepreneurial experience.
Yeah. They've taken the risk already.
No, they know 360 degree.
Yeah.
You can manage people, you can manage money, you can manage environment, you can manage regulation, you can execute operations.
Yeah.
So you can take initiative.
Right.
You're a self-starter.
Yeah.
So these are all taken to be positive things right now. Entrepreneurial experience was not viewed as a positive attribute in the corporate sector in the 90s.
Sure. Got it.
Today it is.
That's right.
तो ये फर्क हो गया है.
बहुत फर्क हो गया. सर फ़र्क की बात करें तो आज की डेट में बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप्स, सो मेनी स्टार्टअप्स हैव डन वेल इन द लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स. इंडियन स्टार्टअप वर्ल्ड इज नाउ 100+ unicorns. But today founders are struggling with two things. One is there's a lot of growth because of our consumer story in India. And there's a lot of push on profitability, which is slightly new, to be very frank, because we feel that, hey, we want to chase so many cities. Why am I looking at profitability so much? So how to do the balancing act? This is for the late stage startups. Yeah.
देखो, capital demands a return. Right? Now, earlier it was thought that merely top line growth without a positive bottom line would give a higher valuation and therefore give a return to other investors. But as the market has changed, and and you're going to be valued of a profit multiple sooner or later, profit becomes important because your investor wants a return, and your investor gets a return only when you're profitable, or mostly when you're profitable. So ये market का वसूल है कि साहब you in the long run will be valued of a profit multiple.
Absolutely. 30x of EBITDA or something
जो भी
like
है,
that. Yeah.
you will value, therefore you better have a profit or visibility of profit.
Makes sense.
अब that is a market reality. थोड़े दिन postpone हो गया था
But
because there was so much capital available.
Yeah.
But as capital has got a little constrained,
Sure.
it's back to you will be valued of a profit multiple.
But do you think that essence is in a way killing the essence of venture capital? Because see, VCs were investing in those states where profit was not there, but there was a line of profitability. And then PEs used to come, which were kind of beefing that up, and then IPO. Now, founders are either skipping the VC wave and PE wave straight away hitting to IPO, or the VC wave will still continue in this climate.
No, the VC wave will continue.
Okay.
But valuations will be slightly different, size of rounds will be slightly different, and priorities, how soon you have to get to profit, that may be slightly different.
But then options to founders are kind of hazy.
Not
VC
really.
versus IPO, no?
No. See,
Okay.
it's going to be, you need venture capital very often in order to grow the business and take it to profit so that then you can go public.
Right.
So a VC is therefore a
So line of profitability is the
line of sight,
is
yes.
line of sight of profit, very clear, should be there, right? And then that's the VC bucket,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Sir, a personal question: love, fame, power. How do you rate them in the order?
I think the ability to influence outcomes so that everybody can reach a better future is the highest possible goal. Everybody, not just you. I mean, your employees, your customers, your investors, your shareholders, your family, everybody, your friends.
So basically, the power to unlock something is
The power to create a better future
create a better future.
for everybody.
That is the answer. Yeah. What's next for you? You've achieved everything. You've built so many companies, helped so many startups, right? So, what I really want to know the mind of a hugely successful person. That how does he think of navigating his daily life? You have achieved everything. You can rest anywhere in the world if you want to.
Well, so I don't sort of ever say that, okay, I have succeeded, now it's over.
Right.
Right? You're working every day.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're working for the day, for the week, for the month, and life goes on.
So basically, you are addicted to the daily hustle.
See, जो मैं बोलता हूँ,
हाँ जी.
in the beginning, it's your company.
Yeah.
Then when you get other shareholders, employees on ESOP, colleagues, co-founders, it's no longer your company alone. When you get investors, it's certainly no longer your company alone. But when you go public, you belong to the company. The company does not belong to you. Because you've raised money from the public on some sort of notion or promise that you will be there to take it to a better future.
So your real work starts after the IPO? Are you
work
saying?
Doesn't stop. I mean, it's work. The nature of work changes. Work does not stop.
Yeah. What's success for you?
It changes. So in the beginning, survival was success. In the beginning, earning 2,500 rupees a month, taking classes on weekends at business schools around Delhi was success. Okay? Because when I left my job, मेरी तनख्वाह थी 5,500 रुपये महीना, take home. So I had said that उसका अगर मेरे को आधा मिल जाए, just by teaching, at least I'm surviving.
Nice. Yeah.
ठीक है? Then, you launched Naukri and some traffic आ गया, that's success. You broke even, that's success. You raised venture capital, that's success.
Yeah.
You raised venture capital and then made a profit and broke even at a higher scale, that's success. You went public, that's success. So success के milestones keep changing.
It's a ladder. Yeah. Sir, एक चीज़ बताइए कि मतलब आज की डेट में you still how much involved in InfoEdge?
I'm full-time in the company.
Okay.
The operating businesses don't report to me. They report into Hitesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malhotra. Yeah.
I look after the investing business. So there are two. There's operating business and investing business.
And sir, what do you look in founders these days, right?
Increasingly, integrity, commitment, capability, and knowledge and customer insight.
And what is your, what was your guiding motivation? Who were you getting help from? Because now there are podcasts, there are so many other things which are happening.
ज़्यादा ही होंगे. No, देखो. When I became an entrepreneur, there was very few role models in 1990.
Yeah.
There were very few first-generation entrepreneurs who were educated. So you did your thing. You had 3-4 friends. That's it. उस समय में ना internet था ना mobile phone थे.
Mentors वगैरह कुछ नहीं.
There were no mobile phones even. So I had lost contact with my batchmates.
अच्छा.
उस time अगर किसी से contact रहना तो चिट्ठियाँ लिखनी होती थी. यहाँ dial STD. STD is very expensive.
Yeah. उस समय तो STD का भी international call used to be an affair.
Yeah. So you sort of in your own little silo, and you worked, right? And you had to be a bit of a self-starter.
Yeah.
To be able to motivate yourself to keep on. Then gradually, as things changed, you got in touch with others and all that. My thing about mentors is that I have no one mentor. But you have to learn 500 different things from 50 different people. Okay? So who I learned from? You learn from your teachers, you learn from your colleagues, classmates, your family. Your colleagues in your first jobs. Right? And my first job was at Lintas, and I think that was a very good cradle for talent, where you learned so much.
Yeah.
And I'm still in touch with several of my former colleagues.
Wow.
And they're really smart people.
Yeah. So you were just learning on the go.
That's right.
And building the business.
That's right.
Yeah. So 3 things that you think a young entrepreneur or a founder should focus on. What's the role of him?
I think the first thing is the customer. You must know your customer. You must know what the customer wants. You must know what the unsolved problems are. You must be able to anticipate what the customer will buy.
Okay.
Right? If you do that and you produce something the customer wants, your chances of success go up manifold. The second thing is team, right? You got to understand you can't do it alone, right? Which means that you have to have a great team, co-founders, other senior people. And you got to make sure that they're all aligned and they all are vested in the success of the company.
Sure.
Which means that if you win, they win. And sometimes they win and you may not win so big.
Yeah.
But you got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
So while the entrepreneur may eat the most, he will always eat last.
Yeah. Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
कि पहले औरों को लेने दो, बाद में लूँगा.
So it's a long journey. Don't
so
worry about
कंपनी बनाने में 10 साल लगते हैं
हाँ.
मिनिमम.
Yeah. Minimum.
तो you have to have patience.
Sure.
इसलिए मैंने बोला था it's okay for founders to go slow. You don't want to, fail fast. No, that's rubbish. Do what it takes to succeed, even if it means succeeding slowly.
Makes sense. Yeah. आजकल वो रेस है.
नहीं, देखिए क्या होता है ना कि if a VC has a time frame कि मेरा फंड 8 साल का है 10 साल का है, तो I want an exit in 6 years. So I want you to succeed in 5 years.
Yeah, they have a 5-year frame.
Ashish Daya had once told me a very perceptive thing.
Yeah.
He says, Sanjeev, I have a problem. So what? He says, many of my investors are running a sprint. I'm running a marathon. How do I match the two?
Yeah.
So we went into PolicyBazaar in 2008.
Yeah.
Right? It has been 16 years. We are still there.
Yeah. Sure.
So India needs patient capital.
Yeah.
Because company बनाने में 10 साल लगते हैं minimum.
So help them till it
lasts,
right?
You've got to have that time horizon.
Yeah. And what are your conversations? How do you interact with your investee founders, right? किस frequency पे आप बात करते हो? What are those?
Well, it's not just me alone. There's a whole team.
Okay.
So I think there's a conversations every week, every fortnight. There are meetings every month. Conversations are on demand. जब भी चाहो phone कर लो.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how we do it.
Okay. So they are just a WhatsApp away and they can call anytime.
Yeah.
So by the way, we have a couple of sponsors on the show, right? Grip Invest and Imperial Holdings, and they are basically the guys who are investing people's capital into various other things. We'd love to know your investing secrets, right? While you have so many startup success, but your personal wealth management, any tips?
So actually, I am not an adventurous personal investor.
Okay.
While
you're so much adventurous in the startup investing.
Okay, so the bulk of my wealth is in the stock of InfoEdge. Okay. Yeah. I've done a little bit of philanthropy, Ashoka University and a few others.
Yes.
Okay. And there is some money in the bank which I do in mutual funds and.
That's it. No like fund managers managing.
No future option, कुछ नहीं. वो नहीं करना मेरे को.
ठीक है. Great.
मैं कहानी सुनाता हूँ आपको.
Please.
So in 1989-90, I was quitting my job, right? And I had some 68,000 rupees in my bank. ठीक है?
Sure.
My annual salary post-tax was 66,000 rupees, 5,500 रुपये महीना.
5,500
महीना.
That's it in Horlicks.
That was a good salary in those days. Okay. ठीक है? And I was terrified of quitting my job and, I wanted a salary check. What will I do? Right? So, मेरे एक दोस्त ने बोला कि, why don't you buy this share? He gave me a tip. You buy this share?
Okay.
Price will go up. So, so I went to, I'd never done stock, I'd never invested in stock market earlier. So I went to a friend whose father was a sub-broker in the Delhi Stock Exchange. Right? And I said to his father, Uncle, सुना ये stock ऊपर जाएगा. So I wanted to buy 66,000 rupees of this share.
Wow.
So बेटा अगर stock ऊपर जाएगा, why don't you buy on forward? Okay, margin. Then you'll make 5 times the money. I said, sounds good, yeah. So I pledged 60,000 rupees as margin money.
Okay.
The share went down.
Oh.
After 1 week, better now we are square. So I was down to 2,000 rupees. So when I quit my job, I had 2,000 rupees. Okay. And so I learned my lesson the hard way. Don't speculate.
Yeah.
And don't take crazy risks.
Right. Within your boundaries only.
Within your boundaries.
Yeah.
And it was a tough lesson, but well learned.
Wow.
And that's what has stayed with me throughout.
The biggest challenge that you faced in your journey, we'd love to know those days when...
See, I think the biggest, in hindsight, they're usually people challenges.
Sure.
Right?
And how did you come over people challenges?
So, look, you're always in doubt. Did I do the right thing? Perhaps I could have done something differently. Maybe it was my fault. Okay? The second biggest challenge has always been, for the first 10 years, or for the first 14 years, we were almost always short of money. There was never enough money.
Yeah.
Okay, and somehow you're getting by and making do and tightening your belt and not taking salary and poor infrastructure. कुछ कर रहे हो आप to make both ends meet.
Yeah.
ये दो big challenges थे.
How are you as a boss, right? मतलब with people, would you like be very compassionate or hard? मतलब कैसा style of?
I will only say positive things about myself.
No, फिर भी पता होता है अंदर deep down.
So I think I'm people oriented, but I'm also a bit mercurial. A bit of both.
Okay. वो होना ही पड़ता है, I think. And then would you want to change something in your past?
Actually, no. I'm okay.
Yeah. वही mistakes वापस करते हैं और वही आगे
It's okay. I mean, it ended up all right in the end.
How do you see the current generation? See, I think they want to achieve everything fast, right? But there's a lot of content, reels which are going around. And then there's all this thing of work-life balance, right? So with too much of information, how to maneuver?
See, the truth is when you're doing a startup, right? In the first several years, the idea, the project will consume you. It's hard to make a startup succeed. It's hard.
That's right.
And if you're not there 24/7, then chances of success are lower. तो अगर आपको सक्सेस बनाना है ना अपने स्टार्टअप का, तो मिस्टर नारायण मूर्ति वाज राइट.
Yeah, the work week,
70 घंटा राइट
करना पड़ेगा. I think I believe that, but again,
You tell me
मैं
from-
LinkedIn
you-
पे कुछ लिखता हूँ तो बड़ी वो मार पड़ती है मुझे.
But you tell me from your own life,
Yeah.
I mean, what has it taken you to do this startup?
No, you're right. Absolutely, it is 24/7.
Yeah.
Even if you are sitting anywhere, having a drink, your mind has to be thinking. अच्छा ये ग्लास ऐसा है, हो सकता है अगली बार पॉडकास्ट में ये ग्लास लगा देंगे या फिर बिजनेस में ये कर लेंगे. So I think every day you're learning.
No, the idea must own you.
Yeah, consume you. Should be
Absolutely.
ready for it.
Absolutely.
And what is for those employees, right, who again are wanting to start up, but they do not want to do this? Do you think that?
See, I'll tell you, when I began my career, first 3 years in advertising in Lintas, I mean, I used to work 6 days a week, 7 days a week. I didn't take a single day's leave. You got to demonstrate that kind of passion and commitment to actually learn something and learn enough.
Yeah.
And change your own work ethic.
Sure. Of having you in front of us, Chief, it's such an inspiring journey, and thank you so much. And the good part is that I just texted because someone sent me his number that maybe reach out to Sanjeev sir as you're building a round. I said no, I will not reach out for a round that I'm building. I'll reach out to get some learning, and that is why you're here. And thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
over, Chief.
Thanks so much.
So much learning
Thanks,
for us.
thanks.
तो गाइस कैसा लगा ये पॉडकास्ट? जरा कमेंट में पहले तो ये बताओ आप कौन से स्टेट से देख रहे हो ये, क्योंकि मुझे ये पता करना है मेरी ऑडियंस कहाँ बैठी है और उनके ड्रीम्स कितने बड़े हैं. दूसरा, आपको इस पॉडकास्ट में क्या अच्छा लगा, क्या और ऐसे सवाल थे जो हम पूछ सकते थे संजीव सर से. आई वुड लव टू नो इट. कीप फॉलोइंग एंड कीप वॉचिंग द आकाश गुप्ता शो. थैंक यू फॉर ऑल द लव.